The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
And welcome to This Week in Pro Wrestling History. I am Noella Grasso, and I'm here with my husband, former WWE, WCW, TNA, ECW superstar, and one handsome son of a bitch, Big Vito LaGrasso. How are you today, Vito?
Pieces, everybody. Reese's Pieces. Double deuces. How's it going?
Why is it that I sound so professional, and you sound so... You got it! You finally got it! What would Tupac do? That was it. Congratulations. Mega powers.
Yo, son,
Mega powers.
You know how it is. Player to player, pimp to pimp. You know, we rocking and rolling here. You know what I mean? We got it going on. You know, the Mac Daddy from the Smack Daddy.
So apparently I'm here with Ernest Miller.
Ernest who?
Oh.
I've never heard of him.
Yeah, he's your buddy. Your pal.
Oh, bag carrier. Ernest Miller, bag carrier. Yeah.
Ernest, if you're out there, you always make me smile.
He carried Brian Clark's bags, John the Bull bag, and my bag.
You guys gonna start this again?
I
don't even know what that is. Oh, I know. We are live on Twitch. So everybody
Twitch is what's going on.
But I didn't
Pieces.
realize.
Reese's Pieces to you people.
Sorry, guys. We didn't even know we were live on Twitch, but apparently now we are live on Twitch.
We are live on Twitch, yeah.
So you're here with the Big Vito brand, and we are going to talk about September 9th, 2006. And for several heavy months, the toughest man to wear a dress defeated Sir William Regal on the SmackDown Grand Tour. Now, what we want to talk about today is William Regal. You guys had a long-standing feud. He, in my opinion, is probably one of the best workers ever in the business.
Yes, he is. For
I'm
sure,
a
hands down.
huge William Regal fan, Steven Regal fan. I loved his TV title run in WCW. He made that title because it was new and he had it and he made it. It was definitely all him. But also, too, you and Mr. Regal were involved in, don't know if you know this, but the only WWE segment ever to feature full frontal nudity. And we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about your full frontal male nudity shot that aired live on pay-per-view.
Sure, let's do it. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Good time had by all. So, Vito, you were pretty deep in your undefeated streak.
Yes. And
you feuded on the SmackDown tour loop. How many times do you think you wrestled William Regal?
Many times throughout tours, throughout the world. It was a great experience. It was one of the best feuds I've ever had. But hey, it made history. It was a great time. Learned a lot. He was a great teacher, a great mentor, and he was very good to work with.
Okay, so William Regal is pretty famous for being a legit tough guy. A lot of the British wrestlers are legit tough dudes. And you've worked with a lot of them. You worked with a lot of guys in UK like Tony Sinclair and some of the greatest wrestlers over there. Where would you place Regal on the toughest guys in pro wrestling? If you're going on a scale from Haku's your 10, where would you place William Regal on the scale of tough guys?
This is not to insult anybody, and I really couldn't put a number on who's the toughest because that wouldn't be fair, because everybody's toughness is very valued. So, I mean, if you had to put him up there, I'd put him up there. I wouldn't put a number on it because you don't want to...
You had something on you, I'm sorry.
You don't want to.
I had a fuzzy on you.
No,
I'm
you don't
sorry.
want. I would not want to insult anybody out there watching the podcast. I would not want to come across as being someone to rate how tough you are, or to say Vito LaGrasso is the toughest man, in wrestling, or one of the tough guys. I would just like to say his toughness was very admired and respected. It's a good way to put it.
Okay. So you don't judge like everybody else does on a scale from 1 to Haku. You don't do that.
You want to know the story of tough guys, and I'm going to tell you. Okay. I'm not saying I'm the toughest guy in the world.
But you were the toughest guy to wear a dress.
Toughest guy to wear, but aside from the dress.
Right.
Okay, aside from the dress. When you look at tough guys, and guys are known as tough, okay, you don't have to say anything. You could just walk in and you handle your business. But how many times have you known for tough guys to fight tough guys? There are a lot of guys who come up out of the woodwork who give somebody a run for the money. Just like, okay, DDP is not a tough guy. You know what I mean? He's not known as a fighter. But Scott Steiner is known as a tough guy and, freakish strength. And he went to blows with Scott Steiner because he insulted his wife. Now, but it was warranted for him to defend his wife. But here's DDP stepping up and going against Scott Steiner.
I always think of DDP as a showman. He's definitely, our business has tough guys and showmen. He's a showman.
You have a guy like Chris Jericho, right? Now, you had a beef with Goldberg. Now, Goldberg is a big, intimidating man. I'm not saying he's not tough, but here you have Chris Jericho, who's tough in his own right, and said, okay, I'm going to take you on. So, there's somebody out there who has your number, and there's always somebody who can. I'll give you the biggest, probably one of the things that people don't know is Andre the Giant, biggest man in the world, right? He was afraid of Harley Race.
Really? Andre the Giant was afraid. Well, Harley Race is another guy that's on the toughest guys list.
You talk about one of the biggest men in the world, Andre the Giant, who could probably go on a rampage and thrash people. But he had second thoughts about messing with Harley Race. You've seen Andre the Giant beat up numerous amount of like Big John Studd. You've seen him beat up the Macho Man.
Ultimate Warrior. He really did in Warrior.
You've seen him beat up guys who he did not like, and he played with guys who he wanted to play with, right? So he didn't really have to say much. But saying somebody's tough, there are a lot of tough guys out there. You just don't say it. But when it comes push to shove in a wrestling ring, and somebody wants to test you, and you say, okay, let's do this. Okay, you're going to hit me, I'm going to hit you hard. Okay, I'm going to hit you hard. I could do this all night, no problem. And then everybody's, oh, what happened out there? And you say nothing. And you downplay it and you walk away.
That's the key to the tough guy is to downplay, right?
But like, really, when, another Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero fight, right? Mm-hmm. Eddie Guerrero wasn't known as a tough guy. Kurt Angle's the greatest Olympic wrestler. And here they go toe-to-toe. Brock Lesnar against Mr. Perfect on the plane. Mr. Perfect was a tough guy, but Brock Lesnar was a beast. Yeah. He wasn't the Brock Lesnar of today, but he was up and coming, and, he had his own...
He was young and hungry then.
Right. So you talk about guys going at it, and there's another scenario. You talk about the Iron Sheik. Talk about a Johnny Rods back in the day. These were tough guys. They didn't have to say nothing. You went in the ring with them. You didn't behave. They stretched.
Speaking of the Iron Sheik, did you ever try the clubs?
Yes.
How did you do?
Well, he bought me a drink afterwards.
Because he felt bad?
No, the clubs are repetition and arm strength and power. If you know how to handle them, you could do them. If you're trying out of the gate to do them, you're not going to do them. But if you practice, you might be able to get 1 or 2 reps. Not do like him because he was
amazing.
He was amazing,
right?
He was
amazing at the clubs.
Guys, there's a niche for everybody. I used to be the push-up champ.
Yeah.
I could do push-ups all day, all night with anybody, the best in the business. You couldn't outdo me. All right, Vito, let's do 50 push. Okay, you want more? I could do more. Back in the day, I used to be the push-up champ. I was squat king. I could squat 1,000 without even breaking a sweat. You know, there's somebody out there, you know, that probably could out squat me back in the day, but it never came up. Nobody wants to get embarrassed doing 500.
Do you know that the Macho Man's father, Angelo Poffo, is in Ripley's Believe It or Not, and he holds the Guinness Book of Records for the most sit-ups done ever.
I believe it.
He not only broke the record, but on top of breaking the record, he did an extra 33, one for every year Jesus lived.
It's good.
That's some serious dedication. And that's like not a couple sit-ups. That's like hours of sit-ups. So there's been some pretty super strength and tough guys in the business, even going way back.
When you talk about professional wrestling guys, everybody's tough in their own right, and nobody's a slouch. I would say that with the greatest respect, and I mean that from the bottom of the card to the top of the card, you know, because there's always going to be somebody who's got your number out there.
Like I got yours.
Yeah, you did get my digits, girl. Yeah.
Back to the topic. Okay, so that's for the latter part of the show, so?
All right.
Okay, so back to the topic at hand. We're talking about William Regal. When did you first meet the infamous Lord Steven Regal?
I met Steven Regal when I was in Memphis, Tennessee, working for Jerry Lawler, doing Skull Von Crush. He came to a TV taping.
You known him that long?
That long.
Wow, so you've known him since probably the 90s.
So I
Early
think
90s.
Steven Regal was in WCW in 1994-95. Yeah.
Earlier on than that, 93, he was
93.
there.
So he was already in WCW. He came down to the TV taping, and I met him. He introduced himself to me, and that's how I met him.
Wow, that's interesting. I never knew that.
Small world.
Small world, isn't it? So, what do you think of that Goldberg match? Everybody's seen the match by now, where Regal wasn't doing the quick job to to Goldberg at all. Were you there for that match, Vito?
No, I was not. That was before.
That was right before.
I'm going to explain the mindset, what you think when you go into a match, because I know it happened to me. And when you know you can give somebody a good match and they cut your time and they want you to do something else, sometimes your pride gets the best of you. In WCW, I was on a good singles run, and I was in there with everybody, and it came through a match between me and Goldberg. Now, they wanted this, we went in there and they says, okay, you only got to, I said, listen, guys, I could have a match with Goldberg. I don't feel comfortable doing this because this is not me. I said, I got to have, at least give me some time. I said, you want me to just stand there and be a puncher bag? That's not going to happen. So for the Goldberg streak that was in progress and building him, William Regal being a very prideful wrestler, being proud of his craft, was no slouch in the ring. Okay. Now, he got upset and he did wrestling business 101 and schooled him. And that is it. It got the best of him. And it does get the best of you sometimes, because you know what, people? You do have pride, and you do have some, and you work at something and you're good, and if you're better than somebody and they ask you to put them over, sometimes it might not be on your agenda, but you know what? Things happen, and later on you say, well, maybe I should have did business different, or maybe it should have been different. But in the heat of the moment, sometimes, things happen, and when you look back at it, was it a messed up match? I don't know. I can't really say. Was it a good match to watch, to see Goldberg try and wrestle him? Did it expose him a little bit? A little bit, because Goldberg wasn't a wrestler. It was a show they were building.
He was one of the showmen.
Right.
Even though you would look at him and go, oh, he's probably the tough guy wrestler. He was part of the show.
But
blowing the smoke out of his nose and all that kind of stuff.
But he was the chosen one. And people, you know what? When you don't pay your dues and you walk in off the street and you get a guy like Steven Regal, or a Vito LaGrasso, a Taz, a Dreamer, a Bill DeMott, a Damien Demento, I'm talking about guys from Johnny Rodz' class right there, right? Devon Dudley. All guys who paid their dues, went through everything, and went through the training, the training regimen, the cords, and did everything that you're supposed to do to be a pro wrestler. And then you have a guy like Goldberg come in, fresh off the street. They put him in there, they make him champ. It kind of sours you because he's like, here I am busting my ass and earning my keep, and this guy walks in. Are there the chosen ones like that out there? Yes. Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan could wrestle, but how many guys are the elite? That's the point I'm getting.
Right. There's only so many.
There's only so many.
There can only be so many Hulk Hogans, and then there has to be other people on the card. Everybody makes up the show.
And it's like, guys who are on Facebook, and there are some guys who are, putting themselves out there to be inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame, right? I'm not going to mention any names. But you were known as a good worker, and for somebody to put somebody over, and you did your job well, you did it better than most. Does it, and there's a perfect example. Hey, I should get my due. I paid my dues. Now I should be with the elite. When the time comes when they ask you to be in the Hall of Fame, it means more than you badgering and putting yourself out there to proclaim yourself a Hall of Famer.
That's a little embarrassing, just to be honest with you.
And when you look at credibility and what you've done, I'm not saying I'm the greatest wrestler of all time. Never did. But when it came time to be here, and I was right there, and I could say that, thank you, bits for tits. I could say that with all the confidence in the world, and everybody who knows wrestling, and you put personalities, egos aside, when it came to Vito LaGrasso in the ring, they knew I could wrestle, I could do anything up and down the card, but never once have I ever said, I belong in the Hall of Fame, I belong here, and I've had a great career, and I've done more things than probably most guys in the business in a lifetime wish they could do. But never ever have I ever said I belong in the Hall of Fame. If that honor ever came up, or it was bestowed upon me to go and say, hey, Vito, we'd like to recognize you for your hard work, thank you very much. I greatly, humbly appreciate it. Because as you can see in our home, okay, we have no wrestling memorabilia up. I don't put anything up. I'm very modest. When people come to the house, if they're a wrestling fan, they ask. My wife will ask me, would you show them your belts? Be proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself.
I want him to be proud of himself, but he downplays his importance, which is, in my opinion, is very humbling, but I think that he deserves to have some of his achievements displayed. Like, if you draw me a little picture, I promise I'll hang it on the fridge.
All right, but all seriousness, guys, but that's the way I feel, because I was brought up a little different. You got any more questions here?
Tons, but you're talking about
because you
yourself.
Asked me some questions. Go ahead.
So we now know the first time you met Regal. We also know about the Goldberg match. In your opinion, how did your feud come about with, by this point, William Regal?
He was probably the best guy they had to get over the gimmick. And he was the best one at facials, best one to work with. He was the guy you went through to get your gimmick over.
I think he was the best at facials, period, the end.
He was.
He was the best at selling the dress. Because I remember when I used to work with you, I used to manage you, or we used to do stuff in wrestling together, and it was so hard to get, you wouldn't think it would be, but it was so hard to get other workers to sell the dress correctly.
And I used to say, sell the dress, sell the dress, look at the dress.
It doesn't take that much.
Sell the dress, pull it down. Shock yourself. These guys want to kick, punch. Be a worker. Sell the dress.
Mike Bucci sold your dress well too.
Yeah, he did good.
Yeah.
You know what? Another guy I wrestled, who I had a great match with, and was in Germany. I can't think of his name. Oh my God. He's in WWE. He did everybody's finish.
Oh, Eugene. Nick Dinsmore.
I wrestled Eugene, okay? And we were in Germany. Never wrestled him before. but he did everybody's finish. So he did every antic in there. I was Big Vito, tough guy coming in, and I played off everything he did to have probably one of the best matches in Germany that would never have been shown. And it was like, it was a great match.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because here's you got the guy who's totally gimmick, and I am coming in as a total sheep.
But you still sold the gimmick.
Sold the gimmick.
You know why? Showman.
That's it.
You're a very good showman. Okay, so you're feuding with Regal. He is definitely the best salesman in the business at this point. So let's talk about what makes you stand out as this very wonderful, dubious distinction of being involved in the first and only ever. Really? The first and only ever full frontal male nudity spot in WWE pay-per-view history. Why were you guys really naked? Can I ask you?
It was a shower scene, and he was so shocked at me being in a dress, and he had gotten out of the shower. And if you remember in the segment, and some of the things I'm known for, he looked at my manhood. Good Lord, man, what the hell? So he went running out.
He said something like, "What was your father, a horse?" Like something like that.
So he went running out there, and
his towel fell open.
His towel fell. It's probably the best segment you'll ever see on.
It was pretty funny.
It was just the best segment you'll ever see in WWE history, but probably one of the most funniest. But something that was real, because if you are, again, what did I say, homophobic? Is that the word?
Like transphobic. Because you were supposedly
transphobic. If you're, you can't do that. So, you can't be in the same room with a naked man. You can't do this. You can't do that. But if you are that, and you're shocked at seeing another man, and you're within elbow reach, and how you doing? Yeah, and I'm washing him, drying off, and having a good time, and good Lord, man, and like it's funny.
But I have to ask, because obviously it was not planned for his towel to come open like that. What repercussions were there? Because it was all over every dirt sheet that you could see.
There wasn't any repercussions. It was a funny thing. It was an accident. It wasn't something.
So you don't think Vince got mad that Regal's
Vince loved it. He loved everything we did.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
He really did love everything we did.
I thought it was funny. I think everybody thought it was funny because it wasn't intentionally done, obviously, but just in the nature of what it was. And then his bird goes flying. It was very, very funny. Are you proud that you were in the only male nudity segment aired on pay-per-view?
Playgirl magazine, male nudity, dress. What else you got?
Come on,
what
like
else?
seriously.
What else can we do?
I'm sure. Did you guys know right away his bird popped out, or was it like
I really wasn't out there watching for his bird. No, I can't say that.
No, I mean, like, did you guys know while you were doing it? Did he say, "Oh man, my bird popped out," or was it like afterwards?
It was just like everybody just shocked. We giggled, we laughed, and went back to work.
Wow, that's great. That's great. So,
he might have got a couple of extra fans.
Maybe, who knows? You live your gimmick so much that you guys were legitimately naked on pay-per-view.
Yes.
Because your whole butt was out. You were legitimately not wearing anything. So it was that like...
That was it.
You just decided guys were just going to be naked in the shower and that was going to be it.
Coming out of the shower. That's what you do. Remember, guys, you work for Vince McMahon, right? And when you're talking about working with the boss, and William Regal was brought up at the same time and brought up the same way I was in the business, and so was Vince McMahon, okay? And you say, how can we make this work? You just go and you do what is natural. What would Psychology 101 say? Because if you try to plan it, you try to do this, and let's roll, and let's do it. If you're a worker, I'm a worker, the guy running the controls is a worker and knows the business, it'll work. And it came out fabulous. It came out great. I'm having a good time. I'm smiling. I'm laughing. I could It doesn't bother me. I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, hey, cool.
When you feuded with Regal and you did commentary, you did promos, you never called him William Regal. You always called him Steven or Steve. Did anybody bring that to your attention? Or was it until, like I said, you called him Steve the whole time, right? And nobody said anything at all.
It was the same thing.
Just didn't matter.
Nobody said anything, so it was okay. So unless somebody brought it to my attention to correct it.
So you just kept doing it.
I just kept doing it. But I knew him as one thing.
Yeah, and then it was, yeah. Okay, well, that makes sense then. So, you know what time it is, right?
Go ahead.
You know what time it is, right?
Tell me.
You know what time it is. It's time for everybody's favorite part of the show but mine. Hit the music. Who did Big Vito hook up with? Big Vito's hookup tips for the road. Big Vito pimpin', big pimpin', spendin' G's. Who were you with while you were in the dress? Give us a story.
Guys, the dress brought me a lot of success. And I have to say, it was the most busiest time of the year. I had a lot of friends.
This is your big Tupac episode.
I'm getting to it.
Don't pull that shit up, please.
I had a lot of lovers. I had a lot of digits. I had a lot of, okay?
A whole lot of?
A whole lot of enchilada, boy, because it kept coming.
Wait, don't take the enchiladas. You won't get paid.
No, we got paid. And it always came back for seconds.
All right, so give your story.
All right. Let's see. Well, which one would you like? Because I did so many.
Oh my God, just tell a story. This is like a torture segment for me, you really, and everybody requests it.
All right.
I can't get rid of this
We're
segment.
hanging out in Puerto Rico. We're on tour in Puerto Rico. We're at the bar. There's Taker, there's Booker, there's Benoit, there's the whole crew there. I come walking up in a dress. There's a couple of girls at the bar. Everybody's sitting there watching, right? I walk up. All the ladies slide to me. All the guys are looking and say, what the hell? Look at this motherfucker. Getting all the girls to go over to him. What the fuck's the matter with me? I'm Jack. I'm good looking. What the hell? I'm this.
You used to light them up in the dress.
Oh my God. It was, but the boys respected it, and they respected the fact that I was scoring bitches and I was freaking doing my thing. And that's what even made it even better. I said, look at him.
So you had these two women. What did you do with them?
Took them home.
Both of them. Then what happened?
Well, you know, baby.
He makes this segment worse and worse every week. Did you just bite my shirt?
It's like biting my dress.
You did that? Oh, you're a jerk. You gave me goosebumps, you weirdo.
It was always a good time. Anytime I was with any of the ladies in a dress.
But you were with two ladies at one time?
No, not exactly. Because one left.
Not exactly. How do you work that out? You took two back. What did you do with the other one?
One left.
And one didn't. You were never into the 2-on-2, like
No.
2-on-1 deal, huh?
No, I was not into the 2-on-1 there, but I wasn't saying I was into multiple lovers in one night.
I'm trying to work this. This is like Scott Steiner math again. Okay, let me think.
Okay, I'm going to give it to you like this. I left with two. One had to leave. One came back.
Wait.
One left. The other came back.
Wait, hold on. Scott Steiner math.
No, I'm not
So
Scott
two-
Steiner. It's
no,
Vito
no, no.
LaGrassa.
No. Scott Steiner math. Two women. Two women. One had to leave. One stayed. Then one came back. You still have an extra woman.
No, one left.
Okay, so wait. You took two women back. Okay? One left.
Mm-hmm.
So you still have one woman. One came back. Now you have two. What happened to the other woman?
Hold on. I had two women. They went back to my casa. One had to mysteriously run back home to go do something, so I had one in my casa. I had a little shake and bake action.
At least you didn't say rendezvous because
No, I had some shake and bake action. We got down, we got dirty. We flipped each other's dresses. We got nasty. After I was done, the other one happened to come back.
Okay, so then you have two.
Right, not at the same time, but two in one night.
Okay, but you're not getting... Okay. Scott's starting math. Okay. You have two women.
Two women.
One goes away.
One goes away.
Hook up with this one.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
The other one comes back.
Right.
What happens to the one
she
you
went
did that
home.
with? Okay, so she left and you had one.
I
You
just
never
said
said that.
I just said that.
Rewind the tape. Rewind
the tape. I said that already. She left. The other one came. What are you getting so upset about, right?
You upset me to no end, I swear.
You want to know about my love life, girl?
I don't want to know.
It was plentiful.
You guys want to know. This is your fault. I got to deal with him and his rendezvous and his love nests and his Scott Steiner math and his stupid dress.
You liked it.
I'm not getting paid enough for this.
She liked it.
Not getting paid enough.
You still ask me to wear a dress every now and then, girl. Come on.
He doesn't wear a dress. All right. I'm just going to put that out there. Oh, God. Maybe I want you to, like, not do what you think Tupac would do. Maybe I want you to... Maybe I'm going to reel that one on back and that...
Listen, I enjoyed my time in the dress. I enjoyed everything. I enjoyed my life. I always enjoy my life. Now I enjoy my life with my wife.
What is this we're doing now? Like this?
All right, close the show.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us on This Week in Pro Wrestling History. This is what you guys have to look forward to on next week in This Week in Pro Wrestling History.
Me revisarán cuando los vea, ¿cierto? Por lo que no puedo llevar un arma. Pero si Clemenza puede encontrar la forma de que haya un arma escondida ahí para mí, mataré a ambos. Mataré a ambos.
Next week on This Week in Pro Wrestling History, we're going to talk about September 25th, 2000, WCW Nitro. Johnny the Bull fought Big Vito in a kendo stick versus stickball match. We're going to talk about Big Vito's partnerships and feuds with his Mama Luke's partner, Johnny the Bull Stamboli, next week. That sounds like a great episode for next week. If you want to catch us guys on our very own Twitch channel, you can check us out at twitch.tv/thebigvitobrand. We stream, we air reruns, we air new shows, we do a lot of things, but Vito does not get naked. There is no full frontal nudity. It's against the rules. We also have a big announcement coming up, guys. This announcement, we've had announcements before for new shows and stuff. Guys, when I tell you this is a big announcement, this isn't like, oh, we're going to have a big guest. Oh, we're going to have a new podcast. Guys, this is huge. This is huge. So that's going to be coming out. Stay tuned to the Big Vito brand. You can check us out at thebigvitobrand.com. Big Vito brand on social media. Magical Tea Spiller is me on social media. You can check all our Disney adventures out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and whatever social media platform you happen to use. We also have audio podcasts out there on anchor.fm/the Big Vito brand, or again, anywhere you listen to podcasts, feel free to listen. So this has been a great show, Vito. Thank you very much.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
Thank you for bringing the Tupac back into the Big Vito.
Right.
And we will see you guys next week on This Week in Pro Wrestling History. Bye-bye.